With a squad valued at just under €1 billion and 5 Champions League wins in the last 10 seasons, it takes a lot to stand out at Real Madrid. But after just 1 month of league play and at the age of 20, that's exactly what Jude Bellingham is doing. In a market characterised by outlandish prices, Real Madrid made the tough but smart decision this summer to sit out the merry-go-round altogether, refusing to spend big on a forward to replace Saudi-bound Karim Benzema. And of the 3 signings they spent money on during the off-season, only Bellingham qualified as a big-ticket item. But at the time, there were question marks over that choice. After all, the Madrid midfield was stacked with Tchouaméni, Camavinga, Valverde, Kroos, Modric, and even the much-maligned Dani Ceballos on the books. While in attack, it was unclear how the club could hope to compete on multiple fronts, with only veteran Joselu arriving. It seemed like the best path to success for Carlo Ancelotti was keeping things tight, using his incredible wealth of midfield dynamos to hold possession and stifle opposition attacks, while hoping Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo could magic a solution at the other end. But somehow the Italian schemer has once again seen something nobody else could. And after the first month of the campaign, Bellingham, a real defensive midfielder when he first moved to Germany, has 5 goals and 1 assist, trailing only Erling Haaland in the Europe-wide scoring charts, and has netted more often after 4 rounds of fixtures than 56 of the 96 teams in Europe's top 5 leagues. But what has Ancelotti done to produce such a leap forward, and what does his current form tell us about Bellingham's future? On today's Explained, we look at the kid who has become king of the Bernabeu. When you pay over 100 mil for a player, it's strange to say we'll use him in a totally different role from the one which made us drop 9 figures on him, at least if you're not Pep Guardiola. But it's worth pointing out that Jude Bellingham's transition to Spain this summer is not as obvious a step as some would have you believe. The youngster famously grew up wearing the number 22 because his coaches said that he could play as a 4, the traditional English number for a defensive midfielder, an 8 or a 10, all adding up to 22. And so his gradual move forward has seemed logical. Despite what the prices for DMs this summer might suggest, it's generally easier to find a holding player than a goal-scoring mid, so players with that ability understandably get stationed higher up the field over time, as we saw with the young Paul Pogba or Dele Alli. But describing Bellingham's evolution that way undersells the degree to which his statistical profile has radically changed since he arrived in Madrid, and both his and Ancelotti's brilliance in making it work. As you would hope, Bellingham's shots have been strong for a while, rising from 1.5 to 2.2 last season, already placing him in the top 7% of midfielders. But while there's only been a moderate increase in Spain to 2.6 per 90, that puts him into striker territory for this metric, and it's come with a drastic alteration in where those shots originate. Across Bellingham's whole career, his shots have generally come from between 18 and 19 yards out, about the same as other goal-scoring mids like Ilkay Gundogan and Martin Ødegaard. After all, you want actual forwards getting shots from inside the box, that's what they're for, and your deeper players pick up their chances around the edge of the area. But Real Madrid didn't simply add Bellingham to a settled system. Losing Karim Benzema to the Saudi League over the summer was arguably the most radical change to their lineup in a generation, leaving them without a point man for the first time since 2009, and prompting a shift from the 4-3-3 they've broadly used since 2013-14 during Ancelotti's first spell at the helm. More specifically, the departure of their number 9 meant a huge drop in box presence, and while the Frenchman played fewer minutes last term than in any campaign since 2017, he still registered 19 goals and contributed 4.4 shots per 90 to Madrid's attack, over a quarter of the total 17 they put up each game. So while Benzema's exit was expected to put more burden on Vini and Rodrigo, there was still room for at least one more in the attack, and Madrid's relatively conservative fullback selection meant that body had to come from the midfield. It could have been Valverde or even Modric, who played higher in 22-23 than in any previous season in Madrid. But by deploying Bellingham at the tip of a diamond, Carlo Ancelotti made his feelings clear. The Englishman was going to be the X factor in the front line. The Benzema replacement would be a 20-year-old midfielder. Of course, like a lot of Ancelotti brainwaves, it's worked seamlessly. Bellingham's average shot distance has dropped from over 18 yards to just 12.9 yards this season, close to the 12.6 Erling Haaland was at in 2022-23. And as a consequence, Bellingham's shot quality has gone from 0.11 xG per attempt, that's an 11% chance of becoming a goal, to 0.18, an 18% probability. His total xG per 90 has skyrocketed from 0.38 last year to 0.6, and some hot finishing means that he's already halfway to the 12 goal involvements he racked up in 30 Bundesliga starts for BVB. Even if his finishing comes back to earth, he's currently scored more than double his 2.3 xG, it's almost certain to end up the most prolific campaign of his short career. In fact, he only needs another 8 in the remaining 34 matches of the season to match the best tally by a Real Madrid midfielder since 2001, James Rodriguez's 13 strikes in 2014-15. Just 4 more would match Zidane's best output in a white shirt. This is not normal, not even for the biggest club in the game. And it's not all that has changed about Bellingham. The simplest thing is how high he is on the field. In years past, the youngster took about 73% of his touches in the defensive and middle thirds of the pitch, largely shielding the defence and then ferrying the ball forward to the attackers. But at Madrid, that's completely unnecessary. In Tchouaméni, Camavinga, Kroos, Modric and even Alaba, Madrid have a murderer's row of some of the best progressive passers in the game, and so Bellingham has been freed from that responsibility and kept high to occupy the defensive line. His touches outside the attacking third have dropped to just over 50% of the total, and he's almost doubled his touches in the box. But remarkably, he shifted his passing game without missing a beat. Last year, Bellingham played 6.5 balls into the final third each game and 8 progressive passes, but now it's hard for him to do that. He can't pass into the final third when he's already in it. So those balls have dropped by half, and instead he's picking holes in the opposition defence, creating 2.3 chances a game, twice his previous best, and also doubling his successful passes into the box. He's gone from a highly rated box-to-box midfielder to one of the most effective number 10s in the world in a month. This shift shows up everywhere. He used to receive 4.5 progressive passes a game, now he receives 7.5. He used to carry the ball forward more often, driving from deep. And his defensive output has virtually disappeared. From 4 tackles and interceptions per 90 at Birmingham, he went to 3.7 in Germany, and now he's regaining possession just 1.3 times a game. A few things go into that. Real Madrid have more of the ball than Dortmund, and La Liga has fewer tackles and possession turnovers overall than the Bundesliga. But it's such a colossal drop-off that it could only be tactical, and it shows the kind of player Bellingham is turning into. The top-class players in the Prem who did that little work off the ball last season are all attackers, from Martinelli to Grealish to De Bruyne to Ivan Toney. With current output more like a second striker than a midfielder, Bellingham seems to be undergoing a similar change to the last British player at Madrid, Gareth Bale, who moved from left-back in his youth to winger and finally to inside forward, even appearing as a striker for club and country. And while that may not be the plan for Bellingham, he's too good at too many things to be peripheral to Real's possession game, it could be an effective stopgap until a new forward arrives at the Bernabeu, with the unending pursuit of Kylian Mbappe rumbling on and the long-awaited arrival of Endrick due next summer. But what is certain is that Bellingham has shown himself to be even more talented, versatile and intelligent than his greatest supporters dared believe. And at just over half Luka Modric's age, it's scary to imagine what he can achieve with his new team. So that's our take on Jude Bellingham at Real Madrid, but what do you think of the youngster's start to life in Spain? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, drop us a like and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and you'll never miss an upload. We'll see you next time.